Hello and welcome. This is a Western Flyer 10-speed road bike. Now, Western Flyer may not be familiar to many of you, but back in the days of my halcyon youth, that was the store brand bike for Western Auto. Be that as it may, this bike is in pretty sorry shape. The front rim actually has a hole rusted all the way through it. The tires and the cables and the brakes are toast. The left pedal is beyond redemption, and I'm not sure how, but the saddle got twisted along its long axis. I paid $20 for this bike, and you might ask, why? Well, here's the thing. I purchase and refurbish inexpensive bikes in order to provide them to various local charities for people who need basic transportation. As it turns out, there's already a fellow lined up for this as soon as I get it ready. He doesn't have access to an automobile, but he does need a way to get around. For me, a bike is a hobby. Let's face it, it's a toy. But it can also be a useful tool, and in some instances can really turn somebody's life around. So that's why I bought this bike, to fix it up. Luckily, I have acquired enough spare parts, and there are others that are easily obtained, thank goodness, for Amazon 2-day delivery. So follow along with me as I tear this Western Flyer down and put it back together. Here's the finished product, and I think it turned out pretty good for a 50-some-odd-year-old bike. I put new cork bar tape on it, which is much more comfortable than that stiff old plastic stuff from the 70s. I put a pair of Kenda K40 26 by 1 3/8 inch tires and new tubes. And this front wheel, which replaced the beat-up old one, is from my parts supply. There's a reason I hold on to these things, folks. Now these pedals, I admit, are a bit of a compromise. The crank sets take a 1/2 inch thread, and most of the locally available pedals were 9/16, except for these, which had an adapter. So there you go. Let's see. Oh yeah, the replacement saddle. Again, this is from my parts supply from an old bike I used to have. And a new reflector because, you know, safety first. And it's really gratifying to think that I've been able to pass along my blessings to somebody else by giving this bike a second life so that I can make their life easier. And I do not say that lightly. My guiding principle is, to whom much is given, much is expected. And since I have a certain mechanical aptitude and certainly an enthusiasm for bicycles, that seemed natural. So if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. Below left is a link to a playlist of other old steel bikes which I've tinkered on for the outreach. And below right is a link to another video which I think you'll enjoy. And as always, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it when you do. Bye.